All right, today we're going to look at a new ChatGPT prompt that I've been working on. And this was actually inspired from someone that I connected with today who has a very, very specific niche. And I wanted to use that as an example of how you can use this prompt to generate some really, really cool ideas for your LinkedIn content. Okay? And it consists of two basic prompts. And I'm calling this the frustration, desires, and fears prompt. Prompt number one is start off by telling it exactly who you are and what you do. And in this case, this is what this person was. I am a developmental editor and book coach who specializes in working with writers of fantasy novels, young and adult. I help writers craft stories they're proud of. Okay, so take that, substitute that for whatever you do in your business. Followed by, tell it, I want you to do some research for me. Act like an expert, world-class editor and book coach with 30 years of experience. Okay. Now, here is where you would actually change that. Obviously, you would tell it to act like a world-class expert, whatever industry that you happen to be in. Tell me 20 frustrations, 20 desires, and 20 fears that, and then insert your particular audience. In this case, fantasy novel authors' experience when it comes to whatever that challenge is. Okay. In this case, writing a novel, especially if they are new authors. All right. This next part may sound kind of funny, but it actually will give you better results, better output. Take a deep breath, take your time, and think through this carefully. It's like I'm talking to my child here, to provide the best results. The end goal, and we're telling it what the end goal is to provide me with a list of LinkedIn post ideas from this research. Do not write the posts, just keep this in mind as you conduct the task. And then finally, I'm telling it, put it in a tabular format where the x-axis is labeled 1 through 20, and the y-axis is labeled frustrations, desires, and fears. Now, I've already run this through ChatGPT, so let's flip over here and take a look. And as you look at this table, and again, I am not an author, I know nothing about fantasy writing, but as you look through some of these results, like they look really, really, really good, like spot on. If I was writing a book, I would imagine that I would worry about developing relatable and complex characters. Writing compelling and a cohesive plot, frustrations, things like writer's block, balancing writing with other life commitments, handling constructive feedback. These are really good points. Along with the fears here, these look, it's a really good data set. So now that it's created this list of 20 records, we're going to look at the second prompt. And you want to start out by telling it, giving it feedback. Okay, if you like what it gave you, then just tell it, good job. I now want you to recreate this table and add a fourth column called LinkedIn Post Idea. Based on the frustrations, fears, and desires for that given row, briefly explain an idea for a LinkedIn post that I could write that would speak to these frustrations, desires, and fears, and establish me as a thought leader and expert. Then tell it add a fifth column called headline that is a catchy hook or a title for the post. Again, take a deep breath, take your time with each record, and do your best work. I have run these prompts with that last little bit, telling it to take a deep breath and take its time versus not. And almost 9 times out of 10, I get much better data when I tell it to do this. It's crazy. So let's look back over here. I've already run this exact prompt. And you'll now notice that it took this same set of 20 records and it added 2 columns. The LinkedIn post idea, where it is giving me a little more instruction on what the post might contain, and then it gives me a headline over here. So with those 2 prompts alone, in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes, you now have upwards of 20 really, really good ideas for LinkedIn posts. And as you specifically look, we're going to look at this last column right here. As I just scroll through, let's move me away. These headlines might not necessarily be what you would want to actually use, but like unlocking the secrets to building unique worlds. If you're a fantasy writer, that's probably a big deal. Or crafting characters that readers will love. And then using this right here sort of as your guide to further think through that. And again, it's just a really quick way. You can get some really cool content regardless of your niche. Again, this is a very, very specific niche. Like I said, I'd never even heard of that before. But regardless of what industry you're in, what niche you're in, this prompt can give you some really cool ideas for your LinkedIn posts. Now, I'm not going to go further at this point, but you could also, as a next step, go in and tell it, okay, I really like the idea for Item number 2, crafting characters that readers will love. If I wanted ChatGPT to take that next step, I would tell it, write an outline for a LinkedIn post on this topic. Give it a little bit more instructions, and then from there you could see what the outline looked like, and then you could, potentially even take it to the next step and tell it to write a first draft of that post. And like all the other courses and videos that you've seen in here from me, never take that first draft that ChatGPT gives you and just post that to LinkedIn. You always want to edit that to put your unique voice, your unique spin and brand on it and so forth. But give that prompt a try and see how it works.